Okay, this video is about anytime you're feeling like there's a closed door, rejection, resistance to, it's like you feel like it's too hard, it's too difficult. I'll even say the word too big. I'll even bring that back into the conversation. That you have this desire, you're following it, and it's almost like you're mad at the universe because it's like, why, like I'm doing it, but nobody's showing up, and or they're saying no, or like this isn't working out how I thought it would. This, this should be easier, and da 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 da. Okay, so remember that your desire it's already a done deal. If that's the only way that you can imagine it, that you can have the desire, if it's already a reality that exists. And so the fact that you're doubting it or allowing a no or a closed door to determine or dictate that it's not possible or that it's too hard is just because you have, again, beliefs, you have paradigms, you have stories running that are out of alignment with that desire. And this is a gift. This is an opportunity for you to look at these closed doors and say, absolutely not. This is just one no just gets me that much closer to a yes. Every closed door just gets me that much closer to the biggest open door of my life. It is all about the definitions and the meanings that you give a thing that will determine how you and who you become in the process of exploring it and discovering more and more about lining up with it. And so when you get a closed door, that's just an opportunity for you to look at and say, okay, like, what am I feeling right now? What is the resistance? What's the emotion? And then asking the question, okay, so what do I have to believe in order to be experiencing this emotion? What would I have to believe is true about myself in order to be experiencing this emotion? And when you come up with that, then you understand, okay, now I know the story that I'm running. So if it's like, I'm feeling disappointment, I'm feeling frustration, I'm feeling not good enough, I'm feeling anger, I'm feeling like I just want to give up, right? And so what's the story? What's the belief that you got running? Once you get to that, then you're going to say, is this really true? And we know it is not, because it's not an absolute truth. It's not an ultimate truth. That means that the opposite of that is what you're really aiming for. So what is the opposite of that belief? What is the opposite that you now want to line up with? Because that's the version of you who has the desire. That's their belief. That is the fast track to understanding. To know what it is that you need to line up with is to understand that it's always going to be the opposite belief of whatever limiting belief that you have. I know. I'm sorry. Did I have to stir you for a minute? I'm sorry. So, allowing yourself to figure that out, to ask those questions, to give yourself the time and space to look into it, to understand that it is a process of enlightening yourself. You're lightening up more. You're letting go of that weight. You're letting go of those stories. You're letting go of those old beliefs, those limiting patterns. And as you ask those questions, what would I have to believe is true? It's letting you understand like programs that are running without us being aware of it, right? And so that's a gift. That's a beautiful thing. And this is the time to call in for support, because every time that we have really strong resistance or even subtle, this is a time to even say like, hey, can I just like talk this out? Can I just like, sometimes even hearing yourself talk about it and say it is just enough for you to realize like, this isn't making any sense. Like I'm just running loops. I'm just, like things are just getting activated. Who knows why? And like, I'm aware that I've got this going on. And so what do I want? What do I want to activate instead? What do I want to like really let myself have instead? And that's where the gold is. So this is a big one. I'm going to probably, hopefully, remind you guys a few times before the end of the 30 days. The key to really shifting into a new version of yourself, to really lining up with that version, is to actually just fully let yourself have it. Fully let yourself go there in your imagination, because what you're doing all day long is in your imagination too. The thoughts you're thinking, you're in your head about it. You're thinking it, you're imagining it, and you're putting energy into the lack of it when you could be putting the same amount of energy in the presence of it. You could let yourself go there in your imagination and feel it fully now. So I want to tell you a quick story about Neville Goddard and one of his lectures. There was a gentleman that came up to him afterward, and he was just like, but you don't understand. My situation is different. I'm broke. I don't have any money, and I really need to be in Pittsburgh with my family. And Neville was like, wait, were you just not in the lecture? Like, hello, right? And we can all we have all been there. So Neville walks him through again, feeling as if really slowing his breathing, getting into a receptive state, right? Like quieting his mind basically, and then having him go to that end scene. Always begin with the end, where he's in Pittsburgh with his family. How's he feel? Like invoking all of his senses, all of the emotions. And again, it's that end scene. He's already there. And having him feel as if it's real right now, as they're doing it, like he's making him feel it real now. Okay. So, all right, he goes off, he goes to a diner to get something to eat. And the stranger approaches him and he says, you look like a mechanic. You might know somebody. I need to go to Pittsburgh and I don't want to do all the driving by myself. Do you think there's somebody I would pay that would be willing to share, to share the driving with me? I would pay them to do it. And so not only did he get a free ride to Pittsburgh, but he got paid to have this guy take him there to help out in the driving. And so I share that because I love that story where it's he was given the instructions during the lecture. He was told over and over again, probably a gazillion times by Neville in the lecture, over and over again, this is how you do it. This is the formula. But yet he still had the resistance. He still had the self-doubt. He still had the excuses. He still had the limiting beliefs. We all do, by the way. This is a completely human, again, natural thing. I'm just going to keep letting you guys know. Don't beat yourself up for it. This is part of it. This is to be expected. Every time you have a new desire, you're going to have resistance to clean and clear. And that's part of your becoming. That is part of your remembering of who you are, the truth of who you are, your true nature. So when you have those excuses and those hesitations and the self-doubt come up, that's just the opportunity. It's a gift. It's a messenger saying hey, this is the opportunity for you to let go of the old and bring in the new. That's all it is. It's not a big deal. It's not a huge thing. It's just an opportunity for you to say, okay, what am I willing to let go of today? I got new things to let go of. Woohoo, let's do it. Let's let go of some old weight we've been carrying around that's not even ours, that we can't even take credit for. You are not the original thought of not enough or not, whatever the resistance is. So give yourself some credit. Ask for support when you need to talk through it, and then just be willing to look at the resistance that you have and ask the questions. What would I have to believe is true about myself in order to be experiencing this negative emotion? And then allow yourself to then come up with the opposite, because the opposite is always going to be the belief that the new version of you has in order to have that desire. One last thing I'll leave you with is that there are so many examples of people that received that seed of desire, the idea, right? Who went through massive rejection. They got hundreds of no's. Walt Disney was one. Colonel Sanders is one. There's a woman I was just listening to in a podcast earlier that she had to bootstrap the whole entire program because she went to every lender in the country and nobody would give her any money at all. She had to, every asset she owned, she had to borrow money from tons and tons of people. She had to figure out a way to make it happen, but she didn't give up. Every no she got was just one more step closer to a yes. And while she never got a yes from the banks, she didn't let that stop her. So that's what I mean, is that you have to be willing to let go of any doubt, any hesitancy, any worry, any resistance about it not being possible, no matter what it is, no matter what that looks like, because 9 times out of 10, most people give up on their desires because they don't understand the process of releasing resistance is necessary for them to move to the version of them that has it. It is a necessary step. And so when they're met with resistance and doubt and rejection and fears and worries, they give up. And that is what we're here to do, is to grow and expand and become more of our true nature. And that means we have to let go of that stuff. We have to be willing to meet doubt with direct paradox and say, again, you can, you can be as hilarious as you want with it. You can be silly with it. You can be firm with it. You can, and say whatever you need to do to transcend that is up to you. Only you will know exactly what works for you. But always, at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's a decision that only you can make. It's the thought process that only you can allow yourself to have. It's the beliefs that only you get to choose. And what I know to be true, especially about you, is that you're meant for so much. And I'm saying this to every single person listening to this right now, including the person who asked this question. You understand you're meant to be on a bigger stage than you're on right now. And that requires you to shift into the version of you that's the bigger energy, that has to be willing to accept the no's, the doubts, the rejections, and what seems like effort and hard work and difficulty, and meet it with unconditional love and acceptance, including yourself. And knowing that as you do that, the more you do it, the more the people that are matched to you will be it. Because that's part of this, is that you're letting go of an old audience and you're ready for a new audience. And I think that's true with every single person that's listening to this video, including me. All right. I love you guys. Bye-bye.